Okay, without further ado, here's how the point editor works. This thing's great. So if you just click, you create a point. Like I was saying, this is like a hose. You're dragging it around your lawn. See how it's kind of stretching up and down. If you want another point, you click, and you can drag that section up and down. Notice now it doesn't behave the same. It's like you're having one person hold this end while you move around. It kind of flops the cord around, the hose around, but it doesn't just like immediately yank it really far down or really far up. You can add more points and more points and more points until you start to realize you may have added too many points. So you can get rid of points. If you click on a point, it will highlight it, and you can press the delete key. And that's not the backspace key. Backspace will actually delete your curves adjustment layer because it's selected in order to get into the properties. Delete will remove 1 point. If you want to get rid of a bunch of points, hold down Shift, and then you can select multiple ones, and you can delete. You can undo that, Control Z. If you want to move a point, just grab it and move it. If you want to move multiple points, Shift click to get multiple points and slide them around. So if you decide, yeah, that's kind of good, but I want it a little more to the right, you can do that. More to the left, you could do that. It's all good to go. To get off of those, you can either click on a point that's not selected, or you can use this other technique. So notice we're up in the top left corner. You always have 2 points by default. And sure enough, you cannot get rid of those 2 points. If you click, oops, my bad. If you select one, if I can just click it and press delete, it just deselects all of them. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing you do is shift click so that you deselect one and then click on it, and then that one will be selected. You can do all the standard tricks, but you can also do this. At the top of your keyboard, after the 1 through 9 and then the 0 key, you've got that minus underscore button, and you have the plus equal button. The plus equal button will move you right, and if you press the minus underscore button there, it'll move you left, so you can toggle between them, which is pretty neat. Now you can't shift click. It won't multiple select, unfortunately. You have to use the mouse to do that. But what you can do is this. Once you have one selected, you could use the arrow keys on your keyboard. Up will move it by 1, down will move it by 1, left will move it left by 1, right will move it right by 1. And if you need to move it by more, hold down Shift. Watch the output. It's going to jump by 10. I'm going to press up, boom, 44 up. Down, boom, 34. Boom, 124. Boom, 114. Yeah, so you can do some pretty fun stuff with that. And same's true if you shift click to get more than one of them. You can use the arrow keys to move them around. This is usually better than relying on the mouse because you can't increase the size of this display window, unfortunately. It's kind of what it is. So that's great. I think that's a really great way of doing things. But notice if you get like some weird points, you might want to hit that smooth tool, but you can't. Unless you go temporarily into your pencil tool, then use the smooth tool a couple times, and then pop back to your breakpoint editor. And voila, it's smoothed out. So I don't know why they don't just let you use the smooth tool. It would just do that automatically, but them's the breaks. All right, so what's the deal with this pencil tool? It lets you do minute edits. So if there's a point that you just want to get in there and adjust it, you can just get in there and adjust it. And you don't have to go in and find the perfect point. It'll just take care of it. And then toggling back between the two will automatically reconnect certain areas. So this is a good way to get, if you just can't get something quite where you want it, that's a good way to get rid of it. You can also drag in those points, and that will move the white point and the black point. If you have more than one, notice it won't move the white point and the black point. Got to do those manually. There you go. All right, and that's about it. That's all there is to this curves tool. That lets you do all those adjustments. It'll take you a little while to figure out how these things wiggle around, but not too long. As you work with it, it'll become clearer. The pencil tool will let you do minute changes in certain areas. So if I want to make these gray, I can just flatten this line out, and I can just return certain colors gray, which is kind of cool. If you want to just have an effect where only some things have color. Let's say all the blacks, I just want those to be gray. Now the blacks are grayed out. What if I want the whites to be gray? Same deal. If I switch over here, it will try to correct it, and it may not have done the best job. And in fact, if you just want to do that, you can do this. You click, and then grab this point and bring it up. You could get it, and then you could click, grab this point, and bring it down. And then here is where you use the pencil tool. You could drag back across if you have a Wacom. Mine's off right now. If you had a Wacom, you could draw right across that baseline, and voila. you would have it straightened out. I'm going to hit smooth on that. Whoops, wrong key. Smooth on that a couple times. Doop, 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 and just kind of wash this out. If you keep hitting smooth, eventually you'll get back to that pretty close to a 45-degree angle. You can also just reset everything. So that's the pencil tool, and that's the breakpoint editor. There are two other ways to edit things. Edit this curve. You can use the on-screen adjustment tool, or you can use the eyedropper tools. Keep in mind, if you get this, it means that it's cached the histogram. So if you click it, it will refresh it and show you what's really going on. So let's go ahead and cover the on-screen editor. The on-screen, sorry, the on-screen edit tool. Is that what I said the first time? All this does, well, this does something pretty cool. If I move on screen, I get an eyedropper. But take a look over at the properties. See that white dot? That wasn't there before. If I move over, that white dot appears, and it's moving. What's going on? Well, as I move this eyedropper, that's the on-screen adjustment tool. That's the word, not on-screen editor. The on-screen adjustment tool. If I move over this light area, it's showing me literally where it is on the histogram. It's in the lighter area. So if I go to this dark tail, oh, look, it's in the deep grays. It's not quite black. So what if I went to, say, this shadow? That looks a lot darker, and sure enough, it's in the darker area. It's showing where it is. Well, that's useful, but check this out. If you click on this white, well, it's supposed to be white cloud, this magenta cloud, click, it adds a breakpoint, but it gets even better. I'm going to delete that breakpoint for a second. If you click and drag, you can drag it up or down on the screen. It's literally an on-screen adjustment, and this is amazing. This means that if you're not quite sure where in the screen something is, like these mountains, where is that? Well, I would have thought that it's actually a little bit darker, but apparently it's in very much the mid-range. So I want to darken those up, I can just drag that down. That's it. What if I want to lighten up these clouds here? Just pull that up a little bit. Crazy, right? It lets me do adjustments without knowing exactly where it is in the histogram by showing me where it is in the histogram. And this is incredibly powerful and incredibly useful. It's a great way to just kind of dig in. Do watch out though. If you start pulling it strangely, you can start getting these inverts. So keep an eye on what you're actually doing and don't just randomly click around. But it is a great way to dig in and do some quick adjustments just to get a start. Oh, I think that's quite lovely. Let's take a look with it off, before, after, subtle, but elegant. That leaves these three eyedroppers, and they do some interesting things. Let's save that for the next video.